What's up, guys? It's your girl, Zelina Christos, and I'm back with another anime reaction video. Who would have thought? This anime reaction video is going to be a little different. I received a lot of positive feedback from my last one about One Piece, but at the same time, I noticed that I was obviously completely off since I never watched One Piece before. I had no background knowledge on the show. So I thought it would be a good idea to watch a video about what the appeal was so that when I did do a reaction video to the post time skip, that I would maybe have a little bit of better knowledge. And then once I'm done that, probably watch the show. But we'll see how that goes. I'm just going to be doing not really a reaction video, but I guess you could call it a reaction video to the appeal of One Piece and where to start. So let's do that.
For a while now,
there has been a certain ominous shadow cast across this channel. You see, as a YouTuber, I'm generally known for four things: my long, in-depth videos, my love of all things shonen, my utterly flawless spelling, and my absolutely perfect pronunciation of the Japanese language. And the problem with those former two is that at some point it means that I need to do a video on the series One Piece. Which is fine, I like One Piece quite a lot, in fact. But the issue comes from how insanely long the series is, currently residing at its 833rd chapter, and the staggering breadth of its world, which, according to the One Piece wiki, has currently 866 named characters.
What?
I know because I counted, and it took a long time. So how does one talk about such a massive series like One Piece? Well, the answer that I've come to, at least, is the same way that one devours a whale. And that is piece by piece.
Okay.
One piece.
Fuck, no, that's not good.
And so, what we're going to do here today is that rather than go straight into a full-blown why you should watch/read, which, don't worry, we will get to, is to first put out a shorter video covering what I consider some of the broader structural aspects of One Piece, which will then free us up and allow us to take a much deeper dive into the characters and themes later on.
Okay.
So with this in mind, my friends, please sit back, relax, and consider this an entree with the main course still to come. And let's discuss the appeal of One Piece. Where to start?
Okay.
I first encountered One Piece in 2006 on the UK television version of
2006?
Toonami, and unbeknownst to me at the time, what I was watching was the infamous 4Kids dub, which would become well known over time for its questionable translation and excessive amounts of censorship. And even despite these factors, I really came to enjoy the adventures of Nami, Zoro, and of course Luffy. The series had a unique playfulness to it that made it stand out from other more stoic series I'd seen up until this point, like Bleach and Dragon Ball Z. And even in the show's more dramatic moments, there was always a tremendous amount of fun to be had. Of course, as I watched the imaginative pirate adventure on my parents' old TV, what I was completely unaware of was what a world-shattering phenomenon I was actually dealing with. That revelation would only strike me several years later, when, on a trip to Japan, it became obvious what a massive deal One Piece actually was. Around every corner in every shop seemed to lie another new piece of Straw Hat Pirate merchandise. Luffy and his ragtag crew were everywhere on everything. One Piece branded bread, One Piece bath salts, even entire One Piece branded shops. It was incredible to see how what I thought was a simple show about pirates utterly dominate the mass consciousness of a single country. The closest thing I could liken it to was the Simpsons mania of early 90s America. This was, of course, before I started looking into things like global sales figures and weekly shonen rankings. And if I had, I would have known things like the fact that One Piece has sold over 400 million units worldwide, making it the third biggest selling comic in existence, recently beating out Spider-Man for the number 3 spot, leaving only Batman and Superman ahead of it. And even then, in 2016, Batman sold 1,859,956 units, and Superman sold 828,069 units. And you could even roughly double the sales of both series by taking into account all their offshoot titles. And it still wouldn't even come close to the 12 million in sales that One Piece sold that same year. And where things really start to get crazy is that if these trends were to continue and One Piece were to run for another decade, it would nearly certainly surpass Batman in lifetime global sales. And if it were to run for another 2 decades, which for Oda's sake I hope doesn't happen, it would surpass even Superman, becoming the biggest selling comic in existence. Now, I'm not saying I think this will happen, but it's a hell of a thing to consider. And so, how has a series about a pirate boy made of rubber managed to capture the hearts and minds of so many people worldwide? Well, to put it simply, the primary appeal of One Piece is the simple premise of adventure. And yes, that is also the core concept of countless other shonen series, but nothing really captures the same sense of scale and exploration as the world of pirates. Our hero on this voyage is the energetic young pirate, Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy is a simple character with a simple goal, to find the mysterious treasure only known as One Piece, and in doing so, become king of the pirates. This was Luffy's primary motivator from chapter 1 and remains so in chapter 834. And this keeps Luffy's journey along the one distinct path, which is a concept surprisingly unique to One Piece. In most other shonen series, our heroes will go on several different large adventures throughout the course of its run, and these are what make up the arcs. But in One Piece's case, it's always the same journey along the same path, to the point that you can actually chart Luffy's route out on a physical map. And the sub-arcs come from the various different islands or land masses the crew encounters along the way. This works particularly well as it makes the core story of One Piece very easy to understand, while also allowing for a massive amount of variety in the series sub-arcs. Some can be very simple, like the Barty arc, in which the Straw Hats visit a famous sailing restaurant in order to recruit a chef. Or very complicated like the Dressrosa arc, in which the crew must untangle a web of political intrigue and face down a vicious and tyrannical false king. And because of how the arcs are structured, with literal massive quantities of ocean between them, there's no real limit to the kind of stories One Piece can tell. They start off fairly villain of the week-esque, with most enemies being rival pirate captains. But as we move on, we see the Straw Hats embroiled in government conspiracies, abducted by massive haunted ghost ships, springing jailbreaks, and even being at the center of large-scale global conflicts. And throughout the entire adventure, there's this real genuine sense of time and progress. When Luffy sets out on his journey from Fuchsia Village, he has little more to his name than a wooden dinghy and his straw hat. And now, 20 years later, he's an infamous pirate warlord, the world-famous most renowned pirate crews in all of existence. The Straw Hat Pirates, of whom include a master samurai, a technologically advanced pantsless cyborg, and even an undead violinist with a awful, amazing sense of humor. One of the core
he has humor
is watching Luffy slowly ascend in status and build his crew as each new battle propels him closer to his dream while also increasing his notoriety worldwide. It's not ever a story you could accuse of moving quickly, but it is always moving. And I think it's only when you look back that you see how far Luffy and his crew have actually come. Of course, the success of an adventure series is largely dependent on the world the adventure takes place in. And this is another area where the series shines. One Piece's world, to put it simply, is the largest, most intricately detailed and well thought out of any of the long-running shonen series. Which may not be obvious from the offbeat cartoonish designs of Oda's artwork, but make no mistake, this is a world of layers, with its own government, economy, cultural and racial divides, with many, many different factions, all of whom have their own philosophies and motivations. While Luffy and his crew are often at the center, or at least involved in large-scale global incidents, the world also progresses entirely separate to them. Major plot incidents completely separate from the Straw Hats are common, and when they do occur, they reverberate throughout the world on such a scale that it drastically affects the lives of every character in it, such as Porticus D. Ace's showdown with Blackbeard that results
all those
in the
800
Great Summit
characters.
War. It always feels like there's a larger picture in One Piece, and depending on the global political climate of the time, Luffy and the Straw Hats' allies and enemies can switch from arc to arc, giving the world this intriguing, ever-changing dynamic. And so One Piece's world succeeds on a grand scale, but what may be even more impressive is the characters that Oda has filled it with. What at first can seem like a cartoonish gag character can, through Oda's storytelling, become a portrait of life at its cruelest and most tragic. and this information is often delivered through weighty flashback stories, in which we're taken through the key moments of a character's life. And while a badly used flashback can utterly kill the momentum of a series, Oda uses them in such a way to give his characters weight, grounding, and motivation that otherwise just wouldn't be possible.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
seriously, you see this dumb-looking idiot in the flavor? This is Senor Pink, and this guy
What?
has a backstory that is absolutely heartbreaking. And upon hearing it, it completely changes everything about how you see him. Moving swiftly along, actually no, wait, no. I know some of you out there don't believe me, so we're gonna prove it. Let's do this.
Okay.
Senor Pink started out his adult life as a member of the brutal Don Quixote crime family, where his days were frequently filled with criminal
That was
activity
him?
and brutal violence. Until one day, in the pouring rain, he met a woman who he immediately fell in love with.
Oh,
They got
no.
married, had a child, and for a while at least, everything was perfect.
Isn't that what he was wearing?
Except that Pink was still involved in the Don Quixote family, which he hid from his wife for fear that she might leave him. One day he's called away on a secret mission and disappears for an entire week, and upon returning, discovers that the day he left, his precious son had passed away, and now his wife, furious and heartbroken, demands an explanation, and he tells her everything, at which point she demands he stay away from her, rushes from the home in the pouring rain, before getting into an accident that leaves her in a vegetative state. Pink, devastated by the events, visits her every day in hospital, until one day, on a whim, puts on a bonnet reminiscent of their son in an attempt to entertain her, and miraculously, she cracks a small, delicate smile. And so, for the sake of seeing his wife smile, he continues to dress more and more elaborately, even enjoying the ridicule of everyone around him. Years later, his wife too has passed, but he still dresses this way out of remembrance for her and of his beloved son.
I'm actually gonna cry!
The silliest looking characters
So
in One Piece
sad!
actually has legitimate character motivation for dressing this way. And in justifying this, he becomes an actual grounded, tangible character. What really gets me here is that this is one tiny, inconsequential character in One Piece's world. And yet still, Oda manages to imbue him with a sense of depth and grounding many writers fail to give even their main protagonists. And that's to say nothing of the amazing job Oda's done in establishing the main major heroes and villains of One Piece's story. Having so many characters with such fleshed out histories and motivation is the primary factor that makes One Piece's worlds feel so vivid and alive, and makes each individual character feel like a true story in their own right. The last thing I'd like to talk about with One Piece is also one of its least tangible elements, and that is the creativity and imagination that's gone into it. There's always a sense that when reading One Piece, Oda himself is enjoying the world and characters more than anyone. It can be seen in the new and creative ways Luffy uses his at first seemingly limited power. It can be seen in the bizarre visual design of many of the world's inhabitants and the camaraderie that takes place between the Straw Hats, and even in the ever-evolving unique structure of Oda's story arcs. He always seems like an author not striving to hit a deadline, but an artist creating a world and story distinctly of his own vision. This is something we're going to dig a lot deeper into in a future video, but for now, just trust me, simply no one writes a story like Ichiro Oda. So with all that in mind, where should you start? Well, the obvious answer is page 1, chapter 1. The manga is for the most part a fantastic read, but I understand people's reluctance to get into it given its insane length. And the anime comes with many of its own issues too, such as a weak production run and masses of filler. But if you're curious to know if One Piece really is for you or not, or even if you just want to dip your toe in, allow me to present a different option, and that is the fantastic One Piece Movie 6, Baron Amatsuri and the Secret Islands. Directed by Mamoru Hosoda of the Digimon movie The Girl Who Leapt Through Time and Summer Wars, the movie encapsulates in a digestible 90 minutes everything that makes One Piece as a series so much fun, on top of having some absolutely gorgeous animation and character designs, and one of the darkest and hardest right turns I've seen in any film for a while. It requires basically no prior knowledge of One Piece or its world to enjoy, and I think even if you have zero interest in One Piece, seeing one of Japan's most talented directors put his own unique spin on the world of pirates is absolutely worth checking out. Guys, that's going to do it for my intro into One Piece, and there is still a ton more we need to talk about. The characters, their themes, Oda's unique visual aesthetic, and what cursed fruit he ate in order to actually be able to constantly produce a manga of such quality, and we shall in a full-blown why you should watch/read One Piece coming later this year. But I hope this video, at the very least, has given you a foothold with which to get started. And also, as some of you are aware, I recently started a Patreon, so if you enjoy this channel and would like to see your name listed with all these these beautiful people right here, consider heading over to patreon.com/supereyepatchwolf, where you can kick in $1 or $2 to help out with the creation of future videos. And also, if you enjoyed my video on fight scenes from last week, then I'd recommend you check out YouTuber Nino's video on the same subject. He does a great job of breaking down fights into 3 distinct areas, and hey, he's also a wrestling fan, which makes him good in my book. In the meantime...
Wow. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize how much goes on in One Piece. Of course, there's like hundreds of episodes and arcs, but I did not realize how intricate this manga was. Oh my gosh. It's like, it literally, that video just blew my mind as to how minuscule my ideas were and reactions towards the all of the openings that I did watch. But holy smokes, like even just seeing that only one out of the 800 plus characters that enter the show was able to have such a deep story and meaning was a lot for me. And like, we never even spoke about life from before, but just like seeing all of it happen and just getting a little bit of knowledge has made me want to watch the fucking One Piece 100 times. Like, obviously I can't watch it 100 times because like there's too many episodes or whatnot, but like I'm definitely gonna have to watch this. And I'm kind of annoyed because I don't want to make my my channel all about anime, but like One Piece actually seems really cool, and I was always hesitant to watch anime, and I feel like One Piece is gonna break that cycle. And so yeah, I'm actually really happy to have watched that appeal video. I'm concerned about my grades now because this is something that I do want to really watch. I might even just start with the movie or just go straight into it and watch the first opening. Hopefully I will be able to post my reaction to even the first ep. We'll see. But wow, holy, that's all I can say. And also that I was way off. There's no good guy versus bad guy, and they're not called One Piece, they're called Straw Hat Team, I believe, from what he said. But yeah, thank you guys so much for giving me positive feedback towards my anime reaction videos. I'm enjoying this process and I'm enjoying every video that I make. So make sure to stay tuned for more videos. They will be coming. And yeah, make sure to subscribe as well. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Not have a good day, but just thank you.